Let me say from the beginning that these dead words are words that you don't want to include in formal writing. You've been given an essay topic to write about, or you're writing on a prompt to write a paragraph for class. Formal writing is where you want to use very careful words and make sure you're explaining yourself clearly, but also formally. Okay? You don't have to worry about dead words if you're writing in your journal. You don't have to worry about dead words sometimes if you're writing a narrative, because it might be a more effective way of communicating how people think informally. All right? But for formal writing, these are words that teachers just don't want to see anymore. So examples of dead words are words that are overused. People use them way too much in their writing and their talking, and we're just tired of them. And you can often find synonyms that are much better, more clear. All right. There might be words that are informal, so we don't want to see them in formal writing. They might be wishy-washy words. They might not really take a stand, where you really need to be clear in taking a stand in your formal writing. Or they're just unnecessary. They're words that you can drop and they don't need to be there at all. So as we're going through this, I will give you examples sometimes of other words you could use, or I'll just tell you, take this word out of the sentence and the rest of the sentence will be just fine. So take out your writer's notebook, and inside your writer's notebook, we're going to make a new page. Doesn't matter where you put it. And if you've done a title page, then go ahead and add that to your title page as well. Title this page Dead Words. And then you're going to draw a line about 1/3 of the way across the paper from the right, kind of like Cornell notes. And then on the left side, you're going to title it Buried. Those are words that are dead. We don't want to see them in formal writing. And then on the right, you're going to write Revived. Those are words we would rather use instead. Or in some cases over here, I'm going to give you some notes on why you don't need them there. Okay? So get that ready, and then put a line underneath to separate your titles from the words that are going to follow them. Okay, here we go. The first dead word is good. Good is not really that good of a word. Yeah, I know what you're trying to convey when you write good, but there are so many better choices, and good has been used way too many times. So depending on what you're writing, you might say kind, you might say capable, you might say obedient, you might say pleasant. It just kind of depends on what you're describing. And there's a lot of other synonyms for good. Put good on the left side and these other 4 on the right side on your paper like this. See how this is going to work? The buried word, the dead word, goes on the left. The words we want to revive go on the right. The next 2 words are very and really. They're kind of the same, and very and really aren't very good. They're really not necessary. Other words that you could use, which would sound a lot better, a lot more formal, are especially, tremendously, and extremely. Don't just say very. A lot. Now, one of the problems with a lot is, first of all, people sometimes put the 2 words together, but a lot is used a lot, and it's just not necessary. You can, depending again how you're using it, you can say there's many, or you could say there's much, or you could use hyperbole and say tons, or something like that. Don't just say a lot. There's not a lot of meaning and emphasis to a lot. One of the worst things teachers can see in formal writing is the word thing or things. If you're trying to describe something and it doesn't really fit into a category, then you can call it an item. You can call it a point, an aspect, a fact, and of course you can make all those things plural too, right? Oh, I just said it, all those things. You can make all those words, all those items, all those points plural. So keep thing and things out of your formal writing. Gonna. Well, first of all, gonna is not a word. It's a contraction for going to, which people use when they're talking. But I just checked it again today, and so far dictionary.com does not accept it as a word yet. Someday it might, because that's where contractions came from, people being lazy in their speech. But so far it's not. It means going to. So if you're going to say gonna, write going to. Got. If you're using it like I got to go somewhere, it's better if you say have. I have to go somewhere. Or if you're using the infinitive, I have got to go somewhere. Try not to use the word got. It's a word we tend to say instead of have. Kind of and sort of. Here come your wishy-washy words. If you're writing your opinion about something, don't say kind of. Don't say sort of. All right? If you're trying to compare something, then you want to say similar. These two things are similar, or this is similar to that. This is almost like that. Don't use kind of and sort of. Another word is like. Now, there's nothing wrong with the word like if you're saying the character would like to go to the store or something like that. That's fine. But when it's not supposed to be used, it's not like an interjection, right? Like sometimes people are like talking like that. No, don't put that in your formal writing. I think is a really wishy-washy word. Never think. If you're saying, I think whale hunting is bad, then somebody might argue against you. Instead, just say, whale hunting is bad, and it makes your argument stronger, right? Just write your argument. Don't write, I think. Other words and phrases, I feel. No, I don't feel, I know. Whale hunting is bad. I believe. No, you don't believe. You know. Whale hunting is bad. In my opinion. Are you getting the idea? Don't use any of these, okay? All for the same reason. Just get rid of them. And one of the things that really drives me crazy is in conclusion. Just write it. You don't need to, if it's your last paragraph of your essay, I'm going to know it's your conclusion. I'm also going to know it's your conclusion because I know what you're putting in there. You're going to restate your thesis. You're going to put in some other items that need to be in conclusions. I will know it's your conclusion. So don't write in conclusion. Now, this is the worst one. When I see let me tell you, it makes me want to scream. Okay? Ah! No. Don't say let me tell you. Just write it. If you say let me tell you, it's like we're having a conversation. It's way too informal. You just need to put it in there. Just write it. And then finally, there's nothing wrong with the word so or well. He could be doing something well that day, right? There's sometimes we can use those words, but when they're not used, is at the beginning of a sentence. So this is when the character did that. Well, this is about the time when... No. Never put so or well at the beginning of a sentence. And that's it. Make sure you've got all those words down in your writer's notebook. You can pause this video, obviously, as necessary. And when you're revising your paper, I don't want to see those dead words anymore. May they rest in peace.